So what you got going on today, man? You just been hanging out?
I just got done doing some downhill runs. Got back from school and got into that.
Man, this
Couldn't
guy's,
catch me doing that right now.
this guy's not messing around.
Guess
No,
not.
Love
Good,
it.
dude. I
yeah,
gotta move this.
a leg workout after, and then hit the cages at night.
Good. And how old are you?
16,
16. How much do you weigh at 16?
like 170, 175.
Yeah, that
Damn,
plays.
you're a big boy. I mean,
Yeah, I would say it's a
16?
nice 170.
There you go.
Jeez.
How much of that came from your dad and how much came from your mom?
I mean, my mom cooks a little bit, so I'll give her.
Yeah,
But my dad's in there training with me, so I got to give him most of it.
love that.
So
That's
is it,
awesome.
how much of it is genetics, you think, and how much is work?
Probably 3% genetics and 97 work.
There you go.
Yeah,
Good
see, I
answer.
love that. Love it.
It's a good answer. Well, shoot, man. Like, to
It's good
start,
to meet you guys.
yeah, dude, it's great to meet you. Your dad is just one hell of a human being. He's an incredible dude.
The
And
guy
he's told
gets it.
us, yeah,
He
and he's
gets
told
it.
us a lot about you. And first thing we want to ask, we were talking about this earlier, is what is it like you going and playing and being around all of like some of the best guys to ever play the game? Like, I know you were in the DR and
Yeah,
like,
I
tell
mean,
us a little bit about that.
I think it's great just on the fact that these guys have experience playing the game at a high level mentally, so they're just stronger than guys, let's say, even who didn't make it to the major leagues but made it to the minor leagues. They know how to go through struggles. So I'm always getting advice on, oh, I'm in a slump, I'm in a slump, and then Albert Pujols has a story about when he was in a slump. So that's really cool, I guess, like learning from big guys. But then even on swing technique and everything, just being able to be comfortable around these guys, have the confidence to speak up and even say what I think about certain things and not just listen to them about and even like add to the conversation with them. That's really
That's
cool.
that's awesome. You're experiencing something that most 99.9% of guys don't get. So
Mm.
that's really damn cool, man.
Well,
Yeah.
think about when he gets to college, right? Because you've always been the man. And then you get to a college campus and you're looking around like, oh shit, these are grown men. And it makes you kind of unsure for a minute. But that
Mm.
environment is going to seem like nothing compared to
Mm-hmm.
your experiences. I mean, Albert Pujols, come on, man.
Yeah, I remember I watched your guys' video of you, Billy, when you were talking about grade in high school pretty much and then got to college and felt like, oh, everyone's almost the same here, and that made you feel something. And I was like, I mean, obviously, no matter how many great players you play with, when it's your competition, you're gonna feel that way, but you're just gonna be
Mm-hmm.
more prepared to handle it and
Yeah.
just you.
Yeah. Wow, dude, I wish I had that those mental cues and those filters going on in my dome at 16. I wasn't to that point yet. Full transparency. It's incredible, man. So, dude, question. So you've been in the Focus Forge and you've been through the programming. Going through it, first of all, you're our first guy that's been through it to like come on the podcast, and that's super freaking cool. So thanks for coming on. But give us your like first reaction to when you first opened the program and started going through it. What were your initial thoughts? How were you feeling when you first started, when you saw it? Like, kind of break it down for us.
When you guys said it was interactive, I wasn't really sure if it was just gonna be watch a couple videos and then oh, y'all reach out and ask how it went. But then once I got into it, it's like your answer choice shows a different video every time. That was really awesome. I mean, I felt like I was almost on a Zoom call with you guys, just going through certain things and like, oh, if you get it wrong, just do it again, rewatch the video, and even helps you take it to heart a little more. And it just really, I mean, your confidence, even just like these are things you hear on YouTube all the time, but when you're actually doing it and have to answer the questions, it just makes you lock in on it so much more that it almost becomes like you're walking through, you're doing your normal day, and you think, "Oh, I heard this the other day. Let me try to fix this."
Yeah, that's
That's
really
what
cool
we're
to hear.
after. That's what we're
Yeah,
after. Top of
yeah,
mind.
mm-hmm. Yeah, it's one thing to like get principles from our program, from our platform, right? Like different mental cues and filters that are going to help you feel good and find certainty. It's one thing to like see those, right? Once or
Mm,
twice, whatever. But it's a whole different ball game to get to where you're at, to where it is top of mind, just like Greg said, to where when you need that stuff, it's right there. and you can take that out of your dome and apply it. And it sounds like the interactivity piece of the program has made that happen a lot quicker, which is really, really damn cool for us to
Well,
hear,
I
right,
like
Greg?
when you
Oh,
guys always talked
definitely.
about reaching your maximum potential as a player, and I never really thought about it that way. Like everyone has a certain potential, and just these little habits you can keep stacking mentally, and just doing all that is going to help you hit your top potential. Even if you're not a great player, if you're closer to your potential than a great player who's not, it evens out.
That's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah. And I mean, just one of the things that we talk about is state, right? So you check in with your state because we've all got this massive range. Every time we pick up the foot, like we could pick it up in one way where we're absolutely cocked up, locked in. And the way we do it when we're in that state is completely different than when we're in that state where we're not sure. But
Hmm.
that only helps a guy if he can remember that like right then and there. And if it's not right there, and then, oh man, I go and I watch a YouTube video and I get reminded of it, then you're like, oh damn, man, I didn't even think about that once.
Yep, that's how it is. Just especially you as a player, and that's what I actually liked about the program a lot, that a lot of times these YouTube videos are coming from guys who are doctors and that and this, but coming from a baseball player, you know how it felt to strike out 3 times in one game and then have to go home with it, and just the techniques one would use to, first of all, not beat themselves up about it the whole night, and then come better next game well prepared. And just that first strikeout comes in the next game maybe, but you're not saying, oh, I hope it's not another 3 strikeout game, I'm gonna hit a double next at bat. So just
Oh,
use.
this is cool.
Uh, Dude, I'm so happy. I'm so happy to hear it. I love it. I mean, he gets exactly what we're trying to do, what we were hoping to do when we built this thing.
Yeah, and it's one of those things for us to where we spent, a long time building this thing, and we wanted to make it different to where it is interactive and where guys can, apply these things and we can keep them dialed in, right? But it's so cool to actually hear that it's that light bulb has come on for you, you know? And based on that, because that's the one thing that we had talked about while building this thing is we know that that light bulb will come on for guys, and it might come on in chapter 2, it might be in chapter 18. So is there a certain module or a certain piece of training in there that really stuck with you and made you think to yourself like, oh shit, okay, that
I would
makes
say
sense?
my light bulb moment was when you guys were talking about the state, on how, like, I guess being in an even keeled state your whole career is not really realistic, but you got to know how to handle the high state and the low state, and it's like keep trying to have a balance in both. That's when you're gonna play your best and just do what you do.
This is the most fun I've had on a podcast ever, dude. Come on
Yeah,
now.
me too.
Damn. So, all right. So you went down to the DR over Christmas break, right?
Yes, sir.
And what were you doing with all those big time guys? Were you just working out? Were you taking live ABs? Both?
Mostly just training, doing some infield footwork, hitting BP on the field. Just
Mm.
even talking and meeting them was pretty phenomenal.
So who all was there besides Pujols?
Robinson Cano, we went and saw a couple times, and then he wasn't there Christmas break, but I was with Bartola Colon over the summer. He actually came and coached one of our games, which is pretty cool.
Nice.
So, and then just a couple local coaches who played in the minor leagues and stuff, just feed off certain things.
Mm.
Great.
See, go ahead, Greg.
Well, one of the things that I subscribe to, especially as a parent, if you want your kid to have a shot, like try to get him around a place where they're doing it at the highest level, like a higher level than anybody in your area is doing.
For
That's why
sure.
we took you up to elite baseball training. And
Hmm.
you ended up getting cut, Billy. I mean, you remember that. But when you get around guys that are doing it at a higher level, you start raising your expectations. Unless you're completely outclassed,
Hmm.
outmatched, you start expecting more from yourself because you're looking at these guys like, man, fuck that. I can
Yeah,
play here.
for
And
sure.
that is everything because we get what we expect. Not what we tell mom and dad we expect, but what we really
Hmm.
expect.
I
So
mean, I
there's
remember being 8 or 9 years old, going to the Dominican Republic, barely hit, like, as a little kid, undersized, barely putting the ball out the infield. and I got this professional guy just accidentally hitting home runs, and that was like, and that really, I guess, didn't overwhelm me. That just made me think it was possible to go out there and do it. And even though I had a lot of struggles playing 13U, 12U, whatever, eventually it all evened out, and now I'm almost at that same level, I feel, at 16 years old as this guy was at 30 years old, where I looked up to him. And I guess it was just constantly being competitive because I had guys living with me when they were 16 about to sign, and I was like in fourth grade. So having to wake up and practice every day was just, like you said, playing over your level, not and using it to get better, not, oh, this guy's better than me, I don't even want to play no more.
Yeah.
And I guess some people do respond that way. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there are some kids who they want to be the best guy around, and their parents are going to maneuver and get them into that situation where they can feel good about themselves. But I don't know. I think there's more risk than benefit in that.
For
Yeah.
sure.
And it seems like, this is a pretty big testament to your parents too, and to, John getting you around the best guys in the game. And it's one thing as a parent, obviously most parents can't do that, right? But it seems like he threw you in there, just mixing you in with these guys. And when you're around, just like, I'm just going to reiterate this point that Greg made. It was kind of like when you were coaching at Heartland, Greg. Heartland is a JUCO, and was I early high school or was I in junior high?
Freshman, sophomore.
Freshman, sophomore, and I had no shot at that point. I was like a 7'8" to 860. It was embarrassing. But I started being around these guys that are, Power 5 D1 guys, and I'm like taking fungos, taking BP. They're hanging out at the house every now and then, and I'm like, shit. Okay, like these guys got there. They obviously weren't this big and this physical from day one. If these guys can do it, I sure as hell can do it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, and this is a testament to you and what I assume John did. You never compared me to them. It was, hey, I'm gonna throw him in there, and I'm gonna see how he handles it, and I'm just gonna keep throwing him in there, keep exposing him to this high level play, and then just see what happens. It's all about building. It's all about building.
For
Me
sure.
up, John up. Yeah.
It's almost like you guys always talk about. I saw an Instagram post the other day that you guys put up, and it's, I guess, the 5 people you train with or hang around with the most is, I guess, who you become. And if you're looking up to a guy who's hitting bombs when you're in junior high, high school, then you'll probably be hitting bombs soon if you're around him enough. So I guess even being that guy for other people eventually, once you're mentally there, is just giving back.
Oh, this kid gets it, Billy. He gets
I
it.
know. I'm
I
not really
love it.
surprised though. After talking so much with John, your dad, it doesn't surprise me.
No, but credit to you because your dad did a great job of getting you around these guys, but you still have to play, man.
Yes, sir.
So the credit, it goes to both of you, but good on you for stepping up and believing, because it seems to me like you already know you belong there. And that is a huge percentage of whether or not a guy sticks and makes it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So going back to the program though, I'm so curious. When we talked later on, about the mental filters, right? Things that we can write down. We tell you guys to create your own mental blueprint to where these are your cues. These are the things that are going to get you back right when you need them the most, when shit's breaking bad on the field. Do you have any cues or any filters that you had made in your blueprint that really stand out?
I have a bunch, even just hitting BP. Like, I'll have every time, obviously, is routine before I step in, take a deep breath, look at the bat, and then wrap my batting gloves. But swing through 2 pitches that I should hit. I'll step out, pick up some dirt, throw it around, look at the foul pole, tell myself I'm that guy, and then go in the plate. And whatever happens, hit a home run, strike out. Either way, I'm still that guy, I guess. So I just got to stay even keeled.
This is the most fulfilling thing of all time.
That's
That's
it.
so cool, man. How much of that did you have? Obviously, like we said, you've been around these guys that are dudes. Where are you at? You're in South Carolina, right?
Yes, sir.
So high school ball, I'm guessing, starts soon.
Oh, yeah, I think I tryouts on Monday.
Okay. So you're a shortstop, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, I was just curious to see when you go out there and you compete, obviously hearing what you do during ABs, whether you hit a bomb or you strike out, you're still that guy. How much of this do you think will kind of feed into your team, right? Because like you said, one day you would like to be that guy that other players turn to, and you can raise their standard in themselves, right? And they will instinctively start demanding more based on the way you carry yourself and the way you believe and the way you just go about your business. How much have you taken any thought into what you think your mentality is going to do leading into this season for teammates or guys around you?
Actually, something really cool. So this is my school's first year, and like school just started up this year, sports focused school, but still like a state school. So we're competing for a state championship and everything. Got a pretty good team, and so as a first year, I guess you're just trying to. You don't know what's going to happen. No one knows. Are we going to be good? Are we going to be bad? This is the year to build the culture, and I mean, we got good coaches and we got good players around us. So it's like I'm trying to lead by example that even because we got a younger team, I guess we can say, and that I remember as a younger guy, maybe I wasn't focused all during practice, or if coach gave us a break for 20 minutes in between things, maybe I'd waste time and talk, but I'm trying to maybe during that 20 minutes go and take ground balls or even take some drive swings, envisioning myself like you guys preach all the time, let it happen in your mind before it happens in real life. And I try to do that all the time. And I think now the kids are starting to get it, and they're trying to ask me after practice, oh, can we go to the caves later? Oh, can I go and run with you and your dad? And it's like, I've never had that happen to me. Like a guy's like, oh, can I run backwards down a hill with you and your dad? So it's pretty cool.
I
Are
bet
you going to
that's an
be a
awesome
junior?
feeling.
Will you
Yes,
be a
sir.
junior? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So you're not so young to where you can't step up and lead. I mean, junior, that's pretty much free pass to step up, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, they got the right guy. I mean, that you were talking earlier about, okay, you're 0-2. You know you should have just hammered that last slider that was left hanging out over the middle. You step out, you've got your routine. I'm that guy. I'm going to be that guy no matter what. Doing that when you've got a culture around you that it's the opposite of that. They're panicking. Everybody's, oh, we can't strike out. We can't strike out. We can't strike out. If you can navigate that, you're going to be a special kind of guy mentally. I've
Yes,
not
sir.
seen you play, but I'm just saying those are the guys that are different. Even with a coach down in the third base box who you can just feel
Mm-hmm.
the anxiety radiating off
Yeah.
him. If you can maintain that in that situation, you're going to have a future.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that was a big issue that I had in college too. When I was, at Creighton, it was that culture of fear, right? Don't strike out, and our head guy would interject himself with the hitters when we weren't banging the ball around the yard every day, small ball, whatever it is. It was a culture where you look around, everybody's trying to not make a mistake, not boot one, not
Mm-hmm.
strike out. Old school style, just instilling fear. And he's right. It takes these filters need to be just so top of mind, and you have to always, because one filter that I always used back then was this culture, this coaching staff, whatever it is, it's not my fault that it's going on, but it's my responsibility to control my state and not let it affect how I see myself, right?
Yep.
And that's one thing that I struggle with. And I failed at it more often than I succeeded back then, because those filters weren't top of mind. I had become so consumed with this idea of, oh man, if I strike out, I'm done, right?
Felt that
But
before.
yeah, exactly. But then once you get down to it and you start taking responsibility and taking ownership for who you are, your state, realizing no matter what happens, it's on you, certainty's a lot easier to find. And then once that happens, then other guys start feeling it, right?
That's
So
say like
then now, go ahead.
limiting, like you were saying, like limiting excuses in your life really changes the way like your really changes your confidence, and just even the way you look at yourself. It makes you feel better. Like when you strike out, is, oh, my hands were sweaty, I couldn't get a grip on the bat. It's just I swung through 3 pitches. Next time I got it. So it's like that changes your whole mindset.
Mm, yeah. And what's funny about it too is coaches, more than anything, they want barrels, right? They want runs. They want wins. That's how they feed their family. And even if you have a coaching staff, this is from my own experience, and you might experience this in college, wherever you end up, or if it's straight to pro ball. We don't know. But coaches that tend to kind of hover over you and like change things offensively, force you into drills that really don't get you right, whatever it is, right? It's funny how all that goes away when they see you step up there with certainty and be aggressive and then produce those outcomes. All that fear stuff goes away, right? Coaches are like, oh no, our guys are barreling. I'm good. I can relax. I don't have to be lighting these dudes up. You know what I mean? It's funny how all that goes away when guys start barreling. And most of the time, once you get to college, you notice that sometimes guys start barreling and having success as a team in spite of the culture that has been created. Right. So keep that in mind, man, because you have these filters already at 16. That's special. But when you get to that next level, or when this season starts this year, and you might find things, again, you might have a staff that's incredible, and that's awesome. Hope it doesn't come down to it. But you already know that it's your responsibility, and you have those cues to get yourself back right. And then now you can help other guys on your team use those cues to get themselves right. And the game's just a hell of a lot more fun that way, when you just take responsibility for it.
Definitely.
So,
Perfect.
I don't know. It's just a very interesting thing.
I mean, like you said, just
Yeah.
create a culture by showing that mindset matters and booting an error in practice. If you've grown about it in practice, can you imagine if you mess up in a playoff game, how tight everyone's going to get? It's just having a free environment to just be yourself. That's the most important thing.
Yeah. And unfortunately, it's rare sometimes finding that culture in college. They are out there. But if you can find one of those programs that you go to the, visit, go watch a game, go watch In and Out, whatever it is, BP, guys are having fun. They're playing loose. They're playing free. They're laughing, whatever it is. That's a culture that's always a huge sign, huge positive sign for me. Like, oh, okay, these guys aren't all puckered up over there. They're like actually having fun. So that's a big one to look out for with that too.
One thing I would say is,
here's my question.
Can you guys see me? Yeah. That your program really helped me with was like like performance, because I remember, I guess maybe going into freshman year, maybe it was 8th grade summer, but I was talking to a guy and he said, if you want me to reach out to colleges for you, you got to run a 7 flat. And I was probably a 7.4 by that time. And that's like the time you start trying to reach out. And I got like, like the first 2 days, it was like, shit, I don't know how I'm going to do this within a couple months. And then just chipping away at it, even looking at what you guys put out, getting confidence back, knowing I can do this if I just keep at it. Eventually, now I'm down to a 6.6, and it's like that long road that looked so long only took a year and a half. And that was like something I thought I could never overcome. I was like, I guess I won't be going to college. And then boom, just by chipping away, it just happened.
6'6", that's real at 16. Wow. Well, at any point, that's boogieing.
Yeah, that's like good D1 shortstop metrics there. Yeah, okay. Dude, that's incredible. How much of as you're going through the process of getting picked up for a 4-year school, do you find yourself doing kind of what we mentioned in the program, to where you've already seen these outcomes, you getting picked up in your head already? Like, it's just,
I mean, for me, I see it like you guys say, like put it on the jersey, put it on the hat, just with a blank. But I see a big stadium and going up to the plate, but just don't know where. But I know that it's going to happen eventually, even if it's go this place 2 years, do that, go straight there, skip that, go pro. It doesn't matter to me. I just know eventually I'll be in a big stadium with a nice jersey.
He's already made it a done deal in his head.
I love it. So do you find yourself getting nervous, like at events, big showcases?
I mean,
do you still feel any of that?
I guess, yeah, pretty natural, I guess, to feel nervous in front of this guy maybe a little bit. But for me now, I feel like I've just gotten so much better. Like, I kind of like it now. Like, Robinson Cano is going to watch me swing on this video, so let me tighten up. And that's not what I do, but that's what I used to do probably. So now it's like, all right, cool. And then now I'm just going up and hitting free and just doing me. So it's like I feel the nerves a little bit, but I'm channeling it into, like I'm saying, this pressure is a privilege, like you guys say.
We lose him?
I think we're good, or no? I don't know.
Yeah, it just froze a little bit there in the middle of that.
You froze up for a second. but I know I caught enough of it to
Yeah.
to know that he's in a good spot.
Yeah,
All right,
it
maybe
sounds go ahead, Dan. That should be all right. There you
Yeah.
go, you're back. Go ahead,
You
Greg.
know, I do want to go back to one thing because I think it's important. My question is, because in my experience as a player, I played at a mid-major, had a very good career, 4-year starter. But I know from experience that a player who's bold enough that refuses to be afraid, a strong enough player can impact the culture in the
for sure.
dugout, even when a coach has that fear mechanism and he's riding it whether he wants to or not. None of those coaches want to go to that point. They've got pressure on them, man, to feed their families, like Billy said. But in my experience back then, and this was 100 years ago, but a strong enough player could change that culture.
For
Is
sure.
that the case now, Billy? Do you think a player can change the culture in spite of I know you said an offense can get hot and bang it despite what's happening, but you think that's possible? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I do to a certain extent. I think there are a couple factors there. One, it depends on how bad that culture is to start, right? And it feeds in to the older guys because sometimes when you're there for a couple years, guys go one of two ways. One, they either have bought into that big culture, right, and then they start echoing what the staff is saying. Guys are booting balls in 27 outs and they're on their ass, but not in a good way, right? So there are guys that go that way, and then other dudes who have eventually just completely detached themselves from the outcome. They don't even listen to the chirps, that are feeding into this fear-based culture. And I think those guys can make a huge impact, So it takes a couple guys. Like I even saw at Southeastern, Brian Fuentes is his name. He's in pro ball right now. He's in indie ball, but he set a record. He's 5'9", 5'8", 5'9". Third base. He played third base, second base, and third. Just filthy. But he broke our home run record at Southeastern. He had 26 jacks and won a World Series. Like this guy's just built different.
Mhm.
But he was one of those guys to where he was always up, man. It didn't matter if we were down, didn't matter if we were up. He was just the same dude energy-wise, and our guys fed off of it. Yeah, he might get, a little pissed off for a second when he struck out or got punched out from NAIA umpires who were just mud, but his energy was the same, and it was
Mhm.
infectious. And then we have other guys that I'm sitting there because I had spine surgery, so I had spent most of my career there watching, and
Yep.
I'm witnessing the way he's changing what our guys are doing subconsciously when shit hit the fan.
Mhm.
So I do think it's possible, but it takes a special kind of guy, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
for sure. And I think I agree with you. Like up to an extent, the coach can hold you down a little bit, but that one player, he's in all the group chats with all the players. He can force his own training sessions. He can do this. He builds the culture just inter inter team, but
Mm-hmm.
maybe they'll hold them back a little bit by in practice adding all this tension of players for no reason. But enough of a special guy like you said can really change the culture at least to better than what it was.
And the fact that he believes that, obviously, because he said that with conviction, he'll be able to do it. I mean,
Oh
because
yeah,
he believes he can. And that level of belief is hard to come by for one, especially in a young man, but I love it. I just love it. That kind of certainty is hard to find. And people are sitting around waiting for the outcomes to give them the certainty they need. But man, the outcomes come from the certainty that we have to manufacture in ourselves, and we can if we know how. And it
Yes,
mm-hmm.
seems
sir.
like you've got that process figured out. But know this, you're going to have to keep at it because you don't just fix it and it's done, as I'm sure you know
Yep,
already. It comes and goes.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
Especially,
never-ending process, man. I've been doing this for 3 decades now, since
mm-hmm.
1997, and it's never finished, unfortunately.
Yeah, and the other thing about it too is now that you've taken a dive in the program and you're seeing the benefits and you found that level of certainty, and I think another thing that comes from joining the program and going through it is you develop like a next level self-awareness, right?
Hmm.
To where you're always conscious and aware of your own state, how things are going, You're always aware of how you're feeling, how you're acting, whether or not you're managing your state. And
For
that's
sure.
a great thing because that leads to you constantly demanding more from yourself. But also keep in mind, man, like we are human and it is our responsibility. But as you continue this process, do not beat yourself into the ground if you lose control of your state for an AB. This game's freaking hard. You know that. But this is something that I have to remind myself of daily, just in everyday life. Because once you find these principles and they become top of mind, you're stuck with them forever. And it's a blessing and it's going to lead to great things. But also, if you allow yourself to kick your own dick in, basically, I know that sounds crazy, but don't let yourself go there. These principles are a blessing and it's going to be constant work. I'm studying stuff every single day, and it's always going to be that way. And I would much rather take that and have these and have that self-awareness than the other way.
For sure.
So
I think it's just
he's
like
kind of frozen.
Yeah. And the one thing I'll add to that is this stuff doesn't shut off when you're done playing baseball. You're going to carry this with you in business. And, if you're done playing at 40, you'll still have these and it'll serve you wherever you're at. And it's obvious you get that at home with your dad because he's doing big things and you don't do big things with a weak mindset. So,
Yeah.
no
Well,
good.
shoot, man. All right, back on. Had a little technical difficulty there. But, dude, we were talking about it when you left. We are just genuinely impressed, not just with how much work you've put in this game, but the way you can articulate these concepts. It's impressive for anybody's age, let alone being 16, man. So we are really excited to see where you go.
I feel like
It's
it
gonna,
took a lot of work. I feel like I've had 3 baseball careers and one just struggles, good times, struggles, but I know that's everyone, but I feel like for me especially, like I was so like skill wise I was great at a young age, but I could never make it happen in games. I feel like just because I put a lot of pressure on myself. So now finally being able to live in my own skin and having this confidence to go out there and have fun, whether I do great or do bad, it's it's freeing for sure.
yeah, dude, that's the stuff.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, we've got 24-year-old college guys, pro guys that won't come on. I mean,
Yeah,
it does take a certain personality type, I guess, belief in yourself, as you said, John, being comfortable in your own skin to come on and do a podcast. But the fact that you're on here speaking so well and being yourself, I'm impressed. I am.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
yeah.
You've got some stones, brother. I mean
Thank
it.
you.
I'd love to watch you play. Got to make that happen at some point.
How far are
So
you from South
you
Carolina,
guys live
Billy?
where?
I'm in Boston. He's in
Okay,
Illinois.
maybe I'll be up there one day.
Yeah, well, shoot, I'll make a trip down to where I'm not freezing my balls off. That'd be
Is that
nice.
where you're from originally?
No, I'm from Illinois.
Still cold.
Yeah, still cold. Just not as windy up there. But dude, question for you though, and I've been waiting to ask you this. So obviously diving into this program, right? This is one of those things where it's pretty new. Not a lot of baseball. There aren't like mindset training programs or too many of them out there that is tailored specifically for baseball players. If there was anything you could say to a guy, whether he's high school, college, I don't care what age, or even a parent, I don't care who it is, who's hesitant to kind of dive into this, what would you say to them?
I guess if you're looking into it, you know you have potential. You need a hit, and don't be scared to hit that potential because you're not gonna want to regret it later. And you're putting in so much hours in the cages, on the field, doing this and that. Just working mentally is really working 1 hour mentally. I feel like does what 5 hours in the cage does. So I feel like once you can master and control your mindset, even with a bad swing, you can make things happen.
Mm-hmm. So good. That's funny that he said that too, because this was a conversation Greg and I had about this stuff, about the mind, about the mental piece, and we said this was a while ago, Greg. We said that a dude that's got a shit move offensively, a bad move, but it
Mm-hmm.
has belief, is better than a dude that is super clean offensively, moves well, and has
For
no
sure.
belief.
Yeah, he's chock full
Sure.
of doubt. I'll take the guy that's cocked up and believes. If it's like one AB, one pitch, one whatever, give me that guy all day long.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. But I
Dang.
mean, it's just like, I guess, sorry to interrupt you, but
No, go.
No,
I
all
just
good.
wanted to say, like, you'll notice the difference. Even like I told you through text, that it's not only baseball that it helps you. Oh, I don't want to do my schoolwork, but I know I have to do it because if I stop doing this, then I won't be doing this on the field. So it's really just setting a standard for what you're gonna do. And even like for me, I guess I wasn't great talking to people. I didn't know. I don't like going out my way to talk, and now I feel like I'm comfortable speaking to anyone, even if I know, oh, this guy's a higher level player than me. He's a 40-year-old MLB guy, but I know I'm a great player too, so he can learn from me, type of thing.
Unreal.
Dude gets
That's
it.
the stuff, man. That is the stuff. Well, shoot, man. You have anything else you want to say? Anything else? Because this has been an incredible episode already. But anything
Yes,
else
sir.
you got?
I mean, I just wanted to thank you guys for giving back to players. I mean, because I know you were a player, obviously, and now you're feeding people what you thought, what the thoughts going through your head, and how you handle them. Because everyone has the same thoughts when you're 0 for 4. So just you giving the advice of as a baseball player on techniques to handle these things is great. And Greg, just I mean, you as like you said, working in baseball 30 years, just helping me, I think, just control my subconscious mind a little more and subconsciously doing things now, like picking up, like, all right, let me take a deep breath because I know I'm getting tense here. That's just awesome, I think. So thank you guys.
That means more than you know, brother.
Yeah,
Really.
it makes it all
Yes, sir.
worthwhile. It's been a lot of time, a lot of effort. So to hear that from somebody who's in it right now, that's all I needed to hear. I mean,
Yes, sir.
thank you.
Yeah,
Genuinely.
seriously.
And good
Yeah.
luck, man. You keep
Thank
doing you.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
You're gonna go places, man. And one of these days, I'm gonna find a way to come watch you because
Sounds good.
I think it'd be a fireworks display in all facets. So yeah, here,
Yes, sir.
John, stay on the line for a second. I'm gonna end this
Gotcha.
episode, right? But we want
Yep.
to talk to you real quick afterwards. But yeah, thanks for coming on, brother.
Thank you.
All right. Yep.